welcome to another edition of Ruggas. Carl, we had an interesting discussion this past weekend, Saturday, at Waterkloof Hoërskool with a rather prominent figure in the SS School's rugby setup, where we discussed quotas, and he was raising his concerns and challenges that he is experiencing in terms of the quota system. We've decided to delve into the topic a bit more for the benefit of our viewers. And my first question today to you, Carl, is why was quotas implemented in the first place?
There's a lot of discussions on was it supposed to be implemented and forced onto the rugby community and everything. Personally, I think yes, we had to get quotas because if we didn't force the selectors, the rugby community and everything to promote black kids and to have a look at black kids, we would have never seen brilliant black rugby players, because they did not attend the top rugby schools, so they would have been excluded until today from performing.
Yeah. So you would say it was definitely a success, because judging by the amount of talent that we have, and we said certain provinces like KwaZulu-Natal don't even have to have a quota system anymore. There's enough black talent available.
Yeah, like I said, we definitely needed quotas. I mean, that was, we needed quotas. Otherwise, we would have seen the success of introducing black children and coloured children to rugby playing.
Yeah. So, is quota still necessary today?
Well, that all depends. Yes and no. We will always need quotas unless government develop the township schools to such a state where they can compete on all, well, that's not only rugby, on every sport side. Okay, so yes, we're going to need quotas until the end of time. Personally, I think quotas must be changed a little bit. It must not be because of colour, it must be due to income or shortage of income of the household where the kid grows up.
Because currently 12 out of 23 players must be of colour.
That's right, yeah.
Do you agree with that ratio?
Well, if you must be honest with you, I think white people is 10% of the population of South Africa, and I think if we unearth all the talent available, black and all that, it's more than fair, yeah.
We had a long discussion about kids from poorer communities, being challenged with being developed in rugby, compared to black kids in the, let's call it the richer schools or the better equipped schools where they are better equipped and developed. Is these kids still be seen as quota kids? Because this brings in the discussion about Danny Jones's concept of quotas.
Yeah, Danny Jones had a very interesting argument down in Western Cape. He said that all the kids that attending the affluent schools, your rugby schools, they're not supposed to be counted as quotas, and I agree 100% with him. That's where my attitude or my stance is, that quotas must not be of differentiating with colour. It must be by income, because your poorer people, and we can discuss it and powder coat it and sugar coat it as much as we want. A poor person can simply not afford to equip his kid to compete against richer kids, stating your food that they get, the supplements that they need, the extra conditioning that they need in order to compete at the top.
Kit, etc. So unless a parent is able to put a child in a very well established, good, let's call it rugby school, that child's going to be
well, he'll never be able to catch up. And I mean, that's the problem what this person also had. You get a kid that's coming from a tier 3, tier 4 school, he's black or he's coloured. Unfortunately, no provision is made for poor white kids. That's also unfair. But he comes from a tier 2 or tier 3 school. He's firstly, he's not used to the type of rugby that's being played by the top schools. He's not used to the speed at what they play and everything. And then suddenly he's forced into a team situation where he must not only compete, but he must play with these kids. And this boy stands out. You can see him as a quota player 1,010 miles away. You can see him. He's just not equipped to compete with the developed kids.
So what can be changed to improve the current quota system?
Well, personally, I think, and that's going to need government intervention and provincial intervention from your top franchises and everything. There must be a scholar system where these kids get identified grade 6, grade 7, and taken into the top rugby schools, into the hostels and everything, where you can make sure their feeding system is right and all that kind of conditions that they don't get at home when you're in a poor community. And that's the only way that you're going to develop a children. But selecting a boy from a tier 2 or tier 3 school, whether he's black, whether he's brown, whatever his color is, I don't care how much talent he has. The quota system at this stage, at the Craven Week and all the youth weeks, counts for nothing. You can't develop a kid in 2 or 3 weeks' time into the same level of the guys that he must compete against.
So ironically, the system is actually disadvantaging a disadvantaged player. You know, if
it's simply window dressing. We gain nothing with it. I know Sari's got a brilliant green squads that they've got identifying the players of color, but you'll find 90% of those kids that's identified as future Springboks and whatever of color is in any case in the top schools. So the government, SARU and the unions must look at a system where they can identify these kids and promote them and put them in proper schools, put them in schools where they will get the same feeding, the same development, the same opportunities and everything. Otherwise that kid must understand when he stands there, although he's dressed the same and everything, he will immediately know that he's not used to playing at this speed. I don't care if you're white or black, if you're not playing at the top tier schools, you are disadvantaged according to me. And that kid will know it. He will know he's in the team because of his color, because of, there's other reasons also for being selected into a Craven Week squad or a provincial squad. So yes, that's the only thing you can do, is to develop the kids from early on. Because, like I said, to put them into a structure for 3 or 4 weeks and expect that to be a development, it's bull dust.
So that is the problem that we are facing currently with the current system. Hopefully somebody out there is listening and taking notes, because at this stage, unfortunately, it is still needed, but the way it's implemented, I think, is where we have the challenge.
Yeah, and I think we must be honest with ourselves, Francois. It's not color. And if the government is clever, if they say we're going to put in quotas because of the income of the family, is any case going to include 99% black kids, because 99% of the poor players come from a black or a colored environment or a family. So, but Francois, quotas is bull dust. It doesn't help unless you uplift either the whole community or take the kid out of his community and develop him on his own. That's the way that things must happen. And unfortunately, it's too expensive. Government and all the powers just love the window dressing. We've got now 12 out of 23 people on the rugby field is black or a person of color, and everybody is happy. Yeah, except for the kids.
Yeah, except for the kids. Have a good one.
Cheers.